Welcome to Salento with Love. I'm Davide Mengoli and another beginning. Lillo House. Yeah, and only yesterday we started at Lillo House. I've just come this afternoon. Everyone is gone, but incredible to see just the progress of starting to hack off all the old plaster. And I always say there is only one way of understanding what happened through the history of a building, that it's been there for maybe 300, 400, 500, 600, 1,000 years. Because when I think of somewhere like an old medieval town like Galatina, it is over 2,000 years old, maybe some of those changes are as old as that. And there is only one way that you can see those changes, and that is to take the plaster off. And when you do that, then you start discovering elements and you can start telling a story. Like, for example, we're just starting to remove the plaster on this wall. We can see an arch. And when we remove the entire perimeter, we can probably tell a little bit of a story. There was something going on there. Can you see this big stone here and this big stone here, and this is closed. This could have been an opening into a cistern. And there is also a little bit of a half arch here, which was demolished. So the star-shaped ceiling came afterwards, came hundreds of years later. And big changes were done really to accommodate the construction of this star-shaped ceiling. Still a lot of work to do to remove this plaster, and then once all the plaster is removed and cleaned, all the soft elements, which is literally just soil, gets removed and cleaned. See, all of that needs to go and consolidated before the stone can be treated and sealed. Not a blue sky today, but equally beautiful to see this progress coming together. Thank you for watching my videos, but if you haven't become a subscriber yet, press the subscribe button, leave a comment. We always appreciate your comments. Thank you. Mario, a posto? The beauty of working in the centro storico is that everything needs to be done by hand. So taking out rubble, and rubble in Italy is always very heavy. There's solid blocks, stones. Oh, are you still there? That means that you are enjoying our videos. Thank you very much for following the channel. Did you know that every Friday we issue a video called Thank God It's Friday, and you can sit if you join our membership? Do that, and I'll see you every Friday. I find this amazing, the level of work and accuracy of these guys, stitching every single stone and bringing it into something beautiful from something that in pretty bad shape. that wall to do. Fantastic start to this morning. I started from the Lillo House and working downstairs. As you can see, the faccia vista, when you're working to have this exposed stone, you're also working with your hand, and also where big chunks of stones are missing, they need to be reconstructed, rebuilt with using an old block to actually close those areas and then fill the gaps all around. It's an incredible amount of work. I mean, it's easier to just build a new wall, but it's really what then leaves us with an amazing exposed stone that everybody loves. Yeah, I'm definitely not dressed for the occasion today, but I just came by here at Lillo House. We're coming down more than 2.5 feet in order to insulate, and as you can see, you're actually digging into the soil. So when people talk about dump, or people talk about rising dump, well, you can imagine why you have a situation with a building that was done maybe 300-400 years ago. Well, they were not the technology that we have today. So the house was literally sitting on soil with a lot of water coming through. So in this particular case, we are digging down, and then after this is done, there's a 3-stage work that needs to be done. First, there is like a concrete base that gets seated on the floor. Then there is an insulation called igloo with cavities in it, with 2 big pipes going onto the outside wall, one bringing the air in and the other one bringing the air out. And then on top of that, there is a metal mesh and the concrete that gets poured over the top. And then you can tile or do your underfloor eating. So that allows for the air to circulate underneath your flooring and stops any rising dump. But what an incredible amount of work that needs to be done to actually achieve that level of comfort. See what the composition of the ground is like clay. You get the idea. So these houses are actually sitting in water. Well, that's a good thing in the sense that Salento, a very hot place, but the water table is pretty high. So again, when people thinking, how can I just stop rising dump? Well, this actually allows maybe 70% of the rising dump to be stopped, or even higher. And then you've got to work on the side of the walls, because although you're working on what is actually bringing the humidity up from the floor, obviously what brings the humidity up from the side of the walls cannot be stopped, but you can actually reduce it by at least 70 to 80% by doing this. And then having the stone exposed allows for the wall to breathe and stopping any kind of mold or anything building on it. These couple of weeks here have been intense work between this room here, which in order to achieve a dry environment, you can tell you actually sink into the clay at the bottom. So the only option was really to dig the floor 2.5 feet, almost 3 feet down actually, and then there's going to be a concrete floor that is going to go in, and then on top of that concrete floor this beehive system, which is called igloo in Italian, and then on top of that, so the hair will circulate, and then what happens, it will have two points, one of entry and one of exit point for the hair to circulate, and then so you'll see two holes on the side of the building, where probably much nicer than having on the facade, with little grills, and that's the hair that goes in, circulates, and keeps the bottom of the floor dry and ventilates out as well, vents out the humidity as well. Then on top of this igloo there will be a 10 to 15 centimeters concrete with a metal mesh, reinforced metal mesh, just to make everything solid, and then on top of that you can then put your flooring down. In this particular case will be an underfloor heating system going down, and then the tiles. So it's an intense process to then get to turn only one room into a beautiful, comfortable space. This room here, if you follow this series all the way through, and the Lillo House, you will see the transformation of this room into what I call a boutique room, which is always my desire when I look at these small spaces, how I can make them so comfy that they're almost hugging you when you're actually walking in. So that's exactly what's happening here. So, Lillo House. Oh my God, look at this beautiful room now. Taking a wonderful, you can see, gets almost to my thigh, so we've actually dropped an incredible amount now to do this insulation. But we also removed the plaster on this last corner today, and I've just arrived now. The LED light is giving us a little bit of a issue, but I just want to invest. This is where the vanity unit or the basin is going to be fitted, so if I can gain that extra deep area, it's going to be looking quite special. But I need to investigate just in case they've closed this, and it could be access to the stairs going upstairs. So it'll be interesting to see. And here we are at the end of another beautiful episode of Palazzo Bella. Some of the most extraordinary features that the builders and the craftsmen that built this property have brought back to light, bringing the shine back onto this building. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, press the little bell, and the most important thing, stay safe wherever you are.